Hi, I'm John Doherty, and today we're going to talk about the transition. Alright, before we get to the transition, we got to talk a little bit about what builds up to that. And I got this orange stick here, and it's going to represent what my right hip is doing. At setup, our right knee's flexed more than our left to square the knees and hips with a closed stance. Also, that right knee flexed engages that quad, so that in P1 to P2 I can start straightening that knee. And what I'm looking for with this stick and this hip is that this right hip will work away from that stick and work towards the target. So you don't want to have the hip in the backswing swaying, and you don't want the upper body controlling this. So you don't want to work the upper body this way, because basically all you're doing is twisting your swing direction towards you. So the focus does not need to be on the upper body twisting. This upper body, this head is going to stay dead still from P1 to P3. So what's going to be the focus is the right knee, right hip moving away from this line. And a great thing to focus on is keeping your right ear lower than your left and your head dead still as that right knee, right hip start working, right knee straightening, right hip start working away from this orange line. This sets you up with the pressure in the right heel and lets you move to that left side, but there's a little bit of secret, so we're not going to work on the arms and club right now. But P1 to P3, this right hip will move away from this orange line. This head will stay dead still where it was at P1. But P1 to P3, as we complete the turn, I do want to see that head to start to move left to finish the backswing. So it's going to be right hip, right knee straightening, right hip moving away, head still at P3, P3 to P4, that head to start working towards the target. It's about an inch, so we're setting up 2 inches left of the ball at P1. That little transition puts us about an inch away from the ball at P1, and that momentum with this slope in this leg pushing my right heel towards the target, my little head motion starting to move left. You can see I got this tilt to my spine that's going to counterfall me into my pressure shift over my left foot. So that first thing that's going to happen after my head goes left is you're going to start seeing that knee work over that lead foot. You're going to start seeing the outside edge of that left shoulder open up. You're going to start to see the right knee start to gain some flex. So in transition, P3, right hip back, head dead where it was at P1. P3 to P4, head's going to start moving left. P4 to P4.5, left knee over left foot, outside edge of left shoulder over left foot, right knee starting to gain some flex, starting to get some forward flexion forming from my waist, so my butt's going back, my pressure's going into my lead foot. And as this is happening, I'm going to start crunching from my right obliques. So if you look, when I start crunching from my right obliques, my knee and the outside edge of my left shoulder are still out past my left hip. So at the top of my swing, I didn't slide my hips, and you'll see this a lot of swings, is the hip will slide and the knee will stay inside of the hip. And that's because when you start to move left, there was no rotation. It was all hip slide this way. So from P3 to P4, when the head starts moving left, that's all the momentum you need to start moving left in the left foot. At that time, you need to start opening up that left hip. So what starts that? The left knee. So the left knee moving out over the foot starts pulling the left hip, very similar to how the backswing starts with the right knee, and then the right knee turns into the right hip. So the left knee, it all starts from the ground up. Left knee goes over left foot, outside edge of left shoulder. Why did the outside edge of my left shoulder get over my left foot? Because the shoulders, my chest is going down and forward, and my outside of my left shoulder is opening up. All right, that means if I stayed in this position and didn't add right crunch, I'd be coming in too steep. So as I start to move left and open up, you're going to engage those right obliques to start shallowing out that club into P6. All right, so focusing on this line's a great drill. Put this line, use the mirror vision, put this line on the outside edge of your right hip and make sure that you're starting to get some separation between your right hip and this line, and make sure your head stays still when you do it. You don't want to see the upper body start moving right to try to get this line, because look, there's that right hip inside the line, but the upper body is going way to the right, and now my backswing swing direction is going way to the right, and I'd have to make a crazy move to get that back, and probably not going to happen with the short period of time we have to make a golf swing. So some good thoughts. Hips, of course, knees, all this focus is probably where you need to be, and then working on those little subtleties in the downswing. P3, that transition, P3 to P4, when that head starts moving left to kind of get the pressure shift happening. Then left knee over left foot, left shoulder over the outside edge of left shoulder over left foot. All right, so now let's talk about the arms. So the arms are easy. All I'm trying to do with my arms really is not lift them too much as far as this way, and I'm trying to load this left arm on my chest. So let's get into a good backswing with the pivot, just focusing on this first. I got my angle, my head didn't move. Now what am I going to do with my arms? So the idea with the arms is to load number 4 accumulator up on my chest. So what's loading number 4 accumulator? Number 4 accumulator is your left arm and shoulder angle. So unloaded, it's about 90 degrees. Loaded, it's pretty tight. So when I get my left arm loaded, it's going firmly across my chest this way, meaning I'm not keeping this width, this 90-degree angle, and turning my back this way to try to get more rotation. I don't want rotation in my upper body like this. This is extension. This is too much spine extension towards the target, and I can't. The only way to recover from that would be to slide the hips and fall back, and now you're out of position. So I'm trying to keep this, my upper body, pretty neutral. I'm letting my hips do all the work, keeping my head still, and the job with my arms, and this is a flexibility thing, is to load that left arm up across that chest. So the more flexible, the less you have here, the easier it'll be. The more you can externally rotate that right arm, the easier it'll be, because this external rotation with flexion is what loads that left arm up. So this move, just externally rotating, is what's loading that left arm, and you see a lot of great players from P3, P4, that's what's happening at the top. They haven't loaded it yet. P3, P4, the external rotation, that left arm gets pinned on there. So let's take it back with everything now. We got the hips moving away from the line, the head staying still, my left arm loaded up on my chest. So let's say P3. So P3 to P4, I'm going to load the left arm up as my head starts moving left. Once that transition happens, my left knee is going to start working over my left foot. My outside edge of my left shoulder is going to go over my left foot, and my wrist cock is going to increase. My right elbow is going to work underneath my left as I start crunching in from my obliques to shallow that club out and get my right shoulder down. So this little crunch is huge. You just want to make sure you're not getting the crunch by getting the hips to slide. All right, I hope that helps. I enjoyed this one. We'll see you next time.